Hello, welcome back to my channel. And today we are filming from Spain because that's where we are on holiday. But they have released the Women's Prize for Fiction Longlist this morning, and like every time I would go on Instagram on my emails, I'd be like, oh no. We're settled in for the evening now, so I'm going to react to the video, to the list. Oh my gosh, I'm really excited. So let's do it.
Hello, I'm Kit Duval, and as this year's Chair of Judges, I'm thrilled to welcome you to the announcement of the 2025 Women's Prize for Fiction Longlist.
Good Girl, Aria Aber. This is a highly emotive psychedelic read with writing that is poetic and incredibly moving. Set in Berlin's artistic underground, it follows Nilla, a young woman born to Afghan parents as she comes to terms with her identity.
Dream Count, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This book explores fragile female friendships and deals with race, with class, with motherhood, with the absence of motherhood. It's completely vivid and real, fantastic dialogue, and stories that will stay with you long after you finish reading.
The Ministry of Time, Kalyan Bradley. This is a genre-bending novel. It's sci-fi, it's romance, a spy thriller, fantasy, and historical fiction about a civil servant who falls in love with a man from 1847. This book was addictive, propulsive, and a total joy to read.
Somewhere Else, Jenny Deiches. This was a beautiful book about a young child who escapes Poland and is adopted by a Scottish couple. It's an epic generational story about womanhood and living in a country even though you feel home is somewhere else.
Amma, Saray de Silva. I didn't want this book to end. It's a multi-generational story about a Sri Lankan woman, her daughter and her granddaughter, and spans decades and countries from Sri Lanka to New Zealand. It shows how societal judgments on women have changed over time, and there are so many powerful scenes in it that have stayed with me long after I finished the book.
Crooked Seeds, Karen Jennings.
Okay.
This book is set in Cape Town. It's a sort of mystery book, but also about alcoholism. It made my skin crawl in the best possible way.
All Fours, Miranda July.
Okay.
This is a conversation starting book. The minute I finished it, I ordered copies for all of my friends. It feels like part manifesto, part battle cry.
The Persians, Sanam Maluji. This book is full of larger-than-life characters and rich in Iranian history and glamour. It's funny, gutsy, confident writing with shifting voices and different modes of storytelling.
Nesting, Rasheen O'Donnell. This book is written about a subject we don't see written about enough. It's about domestic violence. Really strong narrative voice with lots of sympathy and empathy, and yet all the information that you need that we really should have about what happens when people flee a domestic violence situation.
The Dream Hotel, Leila Lalami. It's a book that explores the consequences of a society that becomes hyper-reliant on algorithms. And the world created by Leila seems scarily within reach. I've not stopped thinking about it.
A Little Trickery, Rosanna Pike. It is about the wonderful Tib Ingleby, who is a heroine of epic proportions. It's just wonderful, charming, brilliant. It is almost Chaucerian.
The Safekeep, Yale van der Wouden. The writing is next level. It's a beautiful story about a character who is, to begin with at least, not likeable. And it's a story that has not been told before, and yet something we all feel we should know. It's great.
The Artist, Lucy Steeds. Set during the First World War in Provence, it's about a journalist who goes to interview a reclusive and eminent artist. The writing is so beautiful, the descriptions of the art is immersive. I could smell the paints, feel the fabrics, and see the light in the studio.
Birding, Rose Ruane. So this book really speaks to the reality of being a woman, not just now, but also coming of age in the 90s and the noughties. I highlighted the whole thing on my Kindle.
Fundamentally, Nusayba Yunus.
Oh, great.
It's a complex story about the bureaucracy of the UN. It opened up for me a world I'd never ever thought about. It's irreverent, it's funny, it's clever, and it's really enjoyable.
Tell Me Everything, Elizabeth Strout. It's a story about ordinary people, and their stories are so wonderfully woven together here. It's a book with a real symphonic feel, full of emotional truth, intimate conversation, and propulsive energy.
It was really tough getting so many books down to the long list that we've had today. But we are very proud of these books and how they show some of the best writing from women all over the world this year.
Okay, so I feel almost blindsided by this list. I have a lot of thoughts and I will try to keep them short. Okay, so I've only had two Fundamentally, which I'm so pleased to see on this list by Nusai by Eunice. And wait, is that it? Oh, did I just have one? Oh no, okay, that's the only one that I predicted. From the Booker, I had mentioned Creation Lake, but I hope it was a safe keep. So the safe keep made it. I have read it, so I'm happy to have already checked. And I've already read, obviously, The Ministry of Time, which was on my, I don't think it's going to make it list, but I hope it will list. So I'm happy to see it here. Apart from that, I'm surprised to see The Persians there, because I didn't think it had a chance. That's why I didn't even put it on any of my predictions, but I'm glad to see it there. Nesting was sort of like fourth choice of the Irish. So happy to see it there. The Artist as well was one by Lucy says, is one that I didn't think would make it because I'd included Creation Lake, which is about someone who goes to France to interview some, like, obviously it's a cult leader, not an artist, but it had the same vibe. So I was like, don't want to do the same vibe. I had not heard of Birding by Rose Run or Amma and Somewhere Else. All three of these I'd not heard about before, so I look forward to going and learning more about them. Good Girl was obviously discussed or on many people's list, so I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. So happy to see it here. Apart from that, Crooked Seeds I'd heard of and I discarded. The Dream Hotel, actually, I'm really happy to see it here because I saw it on someone's prediction. I don't know where it was, but I saw it and I was like, that sounds so good actually. So yeah, happy to see it there. Yeah, All Fours by Miranda July. I have it currently from my library because I thought if it gets longlisted, I will already have a hold. And I've received it like last week. So, all right, that might be my first one. Apart from that, A Little Trickery also was on many people's predictions, and that sounds good as well. And then the last two. I feel like maybe those are the two that maybe slapped me a little bit in the face. It's Elizabeth Strout. I've only read one, and it was one from the Booker a couple years ago, and honestly, it's not my cup of tea, and I really didn't think that Elizabeth Strout would make it here, so here we are. And obviously, Dream Count. Honestly, I'm really disappointed to see it here, and I'm sure it's a good book, and you know, I've enjoyed some of her books before, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that she's come out and said isn't intersectional feminism, and honestly, I'm not here for it, and I'm really disappointed that they decided to put it here. But look, the groups of judges are different every year, so you can never really get a full vibe, I think, because like different people will like different things. At first sight, I'm slightly disappointed with this list, just a little bit. And not just because I only had one of my prediction, because it's always great actually to have books that I've never heard from before. But yeah, I just feel, I don't know. Anyway, these are my sort of first impressions of the list. I will now go and research more and see what I can get. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to be reading the long list this year. I read it in the last 2 years, and this year this list is a bit so yeah, we'll come back to it. I will see what I can find and what actually interests me. And yeah, I'm really interested to hear what you thought about this long list, and I'm interested to go see the videos if everyone has done a reaction or like responded to this list. I will go do that now. In the meantime, yeah, let me know what you thought. If there's a book that you've already read that's on this list that you're like, oh my god, that was so good. And yeah, we'll talk soon, I guess. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hey, see you back. Bye.